Thank you
Thanks
for
for having
joining
me.
us.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So, obviously, I mean, you need no introduction, but for the few people who don't know Mr. Craig J. Lewis, tell us a little bit about yourself
All right.
and what brings you to Money 2020.
I'm Craig J. Lewis. I'm the founder and CEO of GigWage. I'm a longtime payroll and payments technology guy. I guess I may be a little bit more than that, but that's what really brings me to Money 2020. I'm just a passionate learner about all things fintech, technology, banking, payments, security. I just love this stuff. Like I really get off on it. So super excited to be here at Money 2020.
So, tell me, gig wage, what is your biggest priority today and looking toward 2023?
Yeah, so everything at GigWage really starts with our mission, and our mission is economic empowerment. And I know pretty much everybody in fintech says their mission is economic empowerment, but we truly, truly believe that we can help this segment, which is the gig economy, right? We think this is really where the market is going. And our current focus now is we're really looking inward. We're hyper focused on our current customers, current contractors, and bringing more and more value to them. Which is in turn kind of attracting a lot of new business for us as well. But we're just super excited about leaning in and pouring in. Such an underserved market, and they need so many things.
Right.
We're just going deep.
Tell me what moves you about being in the business that you are in and serving the customers that you serve.
Yeah, simple economic empowerment. And again, that gets thrown around a lot. I think it was one of the connecting factors of even partnering with Green Dot. I'm one of the CEOs in the industry that actually comes from a home that needed economic empowerment. I always tell people I was never poor, but we definitely were broke. And so I understood the value of money. And so I think when I wake up every day, I'm thinking about how to get people paid when they want, where they want, and how they want to be paid so that they can go on and live, these robust lives that are powered by your financial situation. And so that's the thing that gets me going is this ability to drive economic empowerment.
And so when speaking of the customers, Green Dot, Gig Wage, we serve a lot of the same customer groups. What is the secret to engaging LMI customers? Because in many ways, a lot of these people are new to banking, new to digital banking, right? So what's the secret to bringing them in and serving them effectively?
Yeah, so when I look at Green Dot, right, you're talking about an organization that already operates at scale. And then for us as a fintech startup, we are scaling. But I think the thing that you need to do, whether you're Green Dot or Gig Wage, is really do the things that don't scale. You have to actually really connect with these people. You have to really listen to them and understand them and find that nuanced stuff that you can't always get in a survey. You actually have to have the conversations and be a part of the community. And I think when you do that, you can truly innovate and build nuanced solutions that solve problems in a really deep way.
What are you most excited about when it comes to our partnership and what we're building together?
Well, it's endless, right? And so as we look at our roadmap, Green Dot, from an infrastructure perspective, plays so many unique parts in the different things we want to build. Today, what GigWage does, right, we allow people to pay people instantly and on demand. But we want to extend kind of what I call, we want to bookend it, right? So as we become more of a PayFac and a payment facilitator, love that Green Dot has banking infrastructure and is actually the bank. As we continue to roll out things like debit cards and services, financial services around that. So pretty much our entire roadmap for the next several years, we're extremely excited to collaborate with Green Dot. And again, just that legacy knowledge that you guys have on this market is very valuable to us, and we can innovate together.
Right. So speaking of that, I heard about a study that you guys recently did with Commonwealth. I know Green Dot helped fund part of that and support part of that study. And it's really focused on gig workers, right? What can you share about the study, why it was conducted, and what were some of the findings that may have surprised you?
So the study was really cool, and the findings were really cool. But even before that, how the study came together, I think might kind of get swept under the rug a little bit. And so we were partnered with an organization called Mass Challenge, and we got connected to Commonwealth. And when I learned a little bit about their mission and their past work with Green Dot and the Walmart Money Card, I thought, wow, this would be a phenomenal opportunity to do some new work. And so I, reached out to Green Dot, talked to Commonwealth about pulling this study together. And then it just kind of grew into something a bit more. which kind of speaks to the breadth and the robustness of the gig economy. And what we ended up doing was basically giving out a bunch of money, right? And thanks to Green Dot for a lot of that. And Gig Wage provided the technology and the people. But what we did was we gave away stipends, we gave away grants. We were just trying to see how people would receive different types of finances coming into the home, and then what they did with them. Where did they spend it? What did they think about it? What did they think about the application process? And so really just trying to understand how money really impacts low to middle income consumers. And the study and the findings have been fascinating, and we're excited to get them out.
Yeah. Anything surprising about, what is most meaningful?
The number one thing that stood out to me, and it wasn't surprising to me because I eat and drink and breathe this stuff, but I think what people will find fascinating, the workers typically took the $80 weekly stipend, which is less than like $1,000 loan or $1,000 grant, which would have been more money. And the reason they did that was because it was too scary and complex, and the language for the application was difficult. So what it showed us was people needed it easily, quickly, and often, which really speaks to this type of worker and the lifestyle that they live. And so that was one of the fascinating findings, was people will take less money if it's easier to get access to and it's more frequent.
Right.
But I think we can also learn a lot about the bigger amounts. Can we make those easy and less scary as well,
Right.
when people need access to that? And then you start to look at financial education, financial wellness, et cetera.
Right. So interesting. Okay. So bigger picture, we're here at Money 2020 looking at a lot of different things. You mentioned quite a few of them earlier. What would you consider to be the MVP for 2023 in terms of the most valuable product? What will we see really take over in the headlines and among our conversations?
Yeah, I think the gig economy continues to be the kind of at the forefront of all of this. It's the most horizontal industry across fintech. It's the most underserved industry across fintech. And I think you continue to see the gig economy as Capitol Hill pays more attention to it. Services will continue to kind of stand up, whether it's all of the trends, crypto, buy now, pay later, earned wage access, early wage access, all of those things still need to really be applied to the gig economy. And the workforce in this sector is just growing exponentially. So I think that'll continue to drive the conversation in 2023.
Yeah. How about market dynamics? I mean, when you think about we are either entering a recession,
Sure.
anticipating a recession, potentially in a recession, depending on who you ask, how does that impact the work you're doing?
Sure. So market dislocation is not something that we're scared of. I actually think that's one of the biggest topics is inflation. I think that is a gig economy tailwind. As things become more expensive, these everyday items, milk, food, gas, what you're starting to see is people need more work. So in addition to the work they're doing, they're picking up extra jobs. And so
they're actually taking advantage of
this ability to push a button and make money. And so inflation is really driving the gig economy. I always say people think the gig economy is job insecurity, but I actually think it's job security. You can always push a button and do work, always push a button and get paid. And so
to complement your
it's one of those funny things where I don't like as the market does bad, we do well. But I do think it's an opportunity for the gig economy to meet the market where it's at and be helpful.
Right, and hopefully shine more of a spotlight.
Absolutely.
On the opportunity that exists. What's the best financial advice that you have ever received?
Don't run out of money and make as much of it as you can.
Have you used it?
Sometimes.
Okay, what do you think is the most misunderstood within our industry?
Sure. Financial literacy. Easy. Everyone wants to talk about financial literacy without solving the actual first part of that, which is finances. Everyone wants to teach low to middle income people how to be financially literate, but they don't have finances to do this with.
Right.
And so I think the first thing you have to understand about financial literacy is you have to economic empowerment. Mm-hmm. You have to empower people, give them something to learn with.
Right.
And so I think we skip that a lot.
Right. We talk about that at Green Dot a lot as well. You have to inspire customers to want to learn, right? And so you have to do it in an intuitive way.
Yeah.
That makes sense given their daily routines and their and their habits and their means of learning and engaging and all of those things. And I think a lot of financial companies miss that mark. Okay, rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
How many financial apps do you use on a weekly basis?
7 to 10.
7 to 10. What area or feature will get regulators' attention the most in 2023?
What area or feature? Well, so this is a little outside of the scope of financial services and fintech, but classification is a big one in the gig economy. So misclassification, are companies classifying workers as traditional workers or independent contractors? It's just a massive topic. I mean, the Biden administration just proposed a new rule on it. I think it's going to be something we're talking about through the next 12 to 18 months for sure.
Okay, good. What company is in the best position to launch a super app?
This is hard. A lot of people are coming at this from a lot of different angles. You've got, the green dots of the world. You've got, Robinhood. You've got Coinbase. Square has a really, Cash App, I think, is probably at the forefront of that. But everybody is in a unique position.
Yeah. Awesome. Any final parting words before we go?
Go green dot, go to bank.
And go gig wage.
We already know that.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you so much.
Always
Appreciate
wonderful
it. Indeed,
to
indeed.
see you.